Good morning and welcome to Flat Earth United with me, Nathan Oakley. First and foremost, if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to get updates on videos from this channel. I'm hoping to be joined by the Horry Sheet Show in a few moments. I've just got him on Skype, so I'm in communication with him. This is a fairly last minute affair, so I'm going to put my photos up just so I can share the link with him and get this show rocking and rolling. As always, there will be a separate Google Plus Hangout on air alongside this show. If you can bear with me while I share the link with Horry. Hopefully he will join us in just a few moments. So Horry has now got the link. We will see him soon. So what I've been spending the morning doing is fiddling around with OBS on account of the fact that the most recent broadcast I did yesterday, which was with Headlines Debunked, was unfortunately a little bit jerky and a little bit choppy. It would seem that when I'm doing my testing for OBS, it's unique to just OBS on its own, so I'm quite capable of streaming at 1080p high definition, fantastic, until I start using a separate G Plus feed, at which point it slows down and gets choppy on both feeds, which isn't what I want. I want both feeds to be perfect, of course, and I don't think anybody's too fussed about having ultra high definition, but they are more fussed about my lips actually matching the words that I'm saying and not having any motion blur when I move my hands around, which is how it stands currently. So if you're watching this, Horry, you've now had that link sent to you, so hopefully you'll pop onto the show in any minute. Are we live, he says. Yeah, of course we'll be live. Yeah, we'll be live. We will be live. So yes, let's see if he gets that all fiddled and faffed together, and hopefully we'll have Horry Sheet. Unfortunately, yesterday my show wasn't particularly well viewed in terms of its live audience. Okay, let me get ready, 2 secs. So Horry will be 2 secs, and he'll be with us. But there was loads of other live streams running at the same time, and I was explaining to Zoe Scribner, who is one of the guests on Potatoes Assemble, that it doesn't really matter so much now that I've got a reasonable number of subscribers, sort of 4,500+ subscribers. It tends to not actually matter if the show has a huge live audience, because there's plenty of people to watch it in the aftermath and share it and like it and all those good things. So the show viewings don't tend to stagnate as badly as when I only had, I don't know, a few hundred subscribers. They do tend to still carry on going up. Some of them indefinitely, certainly some of the shows I've done carry on getting views way after their first broadcast. Not all of them, of course. May actually, as this is technically running as a proper show, just check the live feed and see that it is actually looking good, although I tested this earlier, and just change some settings while I'm doing this. So I'll show you what I'm doing. This was the point of me doing this behind the scenes events. There we go. So what I'm going to do in my streaming options is, hello good people in chats. I tried to get him to twerk, but he was having none of it. Oh, I think this is all chat. Okay, so in my advanced options, if I can find those, there we go, advanced options. It's currently set to turn this off once the video finishes. Automatic archives, no. Save that. Go back to view, and it looks like we've been joined by Horry. Let's do a quick sound check with Horry. How you doing? You're on mute at the moment.
Good. I hear you fine.
No,
You hear
nothing,
me okay?
nothing.
You don't hear me at all? I'm gonna talk to you for a
Oh,
little bit
I've got
and until you tell me.
levels, but I'm not hearing you. Must be me on mute. There we go. Let's
Okay,
try
yeah,
that.
you probably have me muted,
There
so
you
I'll
go.
just
I can
keep
hear you now.
talking and yapping until you hear a little something, something,
That's
and when you hear
perfect.
something, there we go.
I can hear you now. Let's just make sure there's no feedback. Nope,
Okay, there
looking
shouldn't be
good.
feedback as long as I keep myself muted, but if I do start feedback and let me know, it's just because I forgot to hit the mute button. I don't have my earphones in because I don't have a long enough cable yet to do all that properly, so.
Cool. Right. Should we do a... I'll do a little introduction for you. If you can pop yourself on mute for a second. What do you like to be called?
Horry.
Just Horry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, pop
Simple
yourself on
enough.
mute and I'll do a proper intro. Good morning and welcome to Flat Earth United with me, Nathan Oakley. Joining me this morning is Horry of YouTube channel The Horry Sheet Show. How you doing, Horry?
Doing all right, Nathan. How are you doing today?
Not too bad at all. You caught me testing, doing OBS streams, and I know you're a bit of a computer whiz. You've already given me several pieces of advice on solving camera problems, and we've not even chatted yet, so this is literally the first time we're chatting. So good to have you here, and I'm very, very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I did happen to catch you live streaming, and I didn't know what was going on, and it kept popping on and off. So I just hung in the chat room and said, you know what, well, I'm free, and we've been wanting to hook up. So I'm glad we decided to do this today.
Well, I wanted to chat to you because you've got what I would call the closest thing to a proper Flat Earth news channel. I know it's not called... You don't actually label it Flat Earth News, do you? But it's as close to it. You know, you cover weekly events, sometimes fortnightly, and you basically go through all the best bits of Flat Earth and give it to your audience. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, what I try to do, you know, I try to go and research a lot of different channels, big or small, what I consider the most popular, and then what I have myself not even discovered yet. So I'm just trying to go all around. I'm trying to not limit myself towards the people who research. I'm not limiting my research to the people who are doing the flat square map or the AE map or the whatever other projection that you might have. Like I look at everybody. I look at every channel, and I try to present it and deliver the most aha information that I happen to see or happen to listen to. And this could be from, a lot of those moments came from like Mark Sargent's podcast for me. When he would interview people that they would talk for like 3 hours, and one of the biggest ones was the missile commander launcher, talking about how he could paint targets from so far away with his radar, and that was mind-boggling. If there was any curvature of Earth, it couldn't happen. So like things like that, I would find, or I was like, man, I have to get some of this out. I'm doing so much research. I need to figure out a way to bring it to people. And so the Horry Sheet Show was born. I just I said, let me write up a little bit about what I find interesting in this particular video, put a source link to it, or say I'm gonna link to this video in the description below, and then I just keep doing that. Next video, what's interesting about it? Preface it, write a little bit of a script, and put the link. So I just kind of keep a log, and once I have about 10 videos to show and talk about, it's really a show and tell show. That's kind of like, IPS says that I'm the Stephen Colbert of Flat Earth. If Stephen Colbert wasn't a sellout whore for the New World Order or something, it was a funny way he put it. But I said, it's like I say I'm a Tosh.0 of Flat Earth, because everybody knows what the Tosh.0 setup is. A guy standing next to his TV and talking about a funny video. Well, it's kind of like what I'm doing with the Flat Earth. I try to add that. Try to add my own. It's kind of a funny and a professional touch to it. And I don't know how anyone else takes it, but for me, what I'm doing is trying to save people time. because who has time to watch a 3-hour long podcast about anything they're interested in? It doesn't matter what it is. And flat earth is really a topic that is, it hits you in the feels, but you might not have enough time to watch that 3 hours and really and get to the part that would make you go, aha. So the Horry Sheet Show tries to stick it in your face and then help other channels get noticed and say, you know, hey, this is the best part I liked about it. Check out the video. That's kind of what I do. And people say it does save me time. You know, thank you so much. It saves me time. And that's what I'm going for.
Well, plus the formatting is exceptional. So most people are familiar with a TV style format. You know, guy behind a desk leads into the story, gives you the beginning, middle and end in a précis form, then you actually see the clip, which is maybe a couple of minutes long, and then you do a short summary or give your opinion, then you move on to the next story. You know, that kind of, it sounds simple, but to actually do it, to actually put it together, you're the first, you know, to actually come up with a proper structure. And hats off to you, because as you say, it does save a huge amount of time. Don't get me wrong, I've often seen the full-length videos that you're putting up, but you know, not everyone is going to be like me in that respect. Most people are limited in terms of their time, so I'm sure you've got plenty of fans already. But you're doing really well. You know, I don't know how long you've been making videos for now. Specifically on this subject, I know you're a videographer, so.
Well, are you asking me how long have I been doing videos professionally or doing the Horry Sheet Show?
Well, more the Horry Sheet Show. I mean, we'll come on to, you know, your background in terms of your videography maybe in a little bit, but sort of from a flat earth perspective, how long have you been making videos?
You know, I just started. I'm just getting to it. I'd say 4 months-ish. It can't be much more than 4 months, or it might be, it's probably at the 4-month mark, Nathan, yeah. But really, I'm just getting started. I'm just feeling out. Just trying to work on my style. I even had to look at the Horry Sheet Show episode 1. I'm up to, the next one will be episode 12. But this episode 1 was a little bit different. It seems a little bit different than the ones I'm doing now. I've kind of changed up the format, and I've realized why. I'm covering a lot more ground in the newer format. Now, I can't really, I don't want to go into like all the details of what I might have done differently, but it's sort of an evolving process, which it's fun. It's really teaching me a lot about how to bring kind of my own style into my videos, because doing videos about, I don't know, random products is one thing. But then when you do a video and you can add your own funny touch to it or whatever, because in my show, I like to add these random moments. I think the first idea I had was, I'm like, what do I do with this green screen? And I'm like, I got this other table with this other green screen I can stick on it. What can I do with that? What could I do to make people laugh? And then I was just the goofy idea of me flying in the background, because I'm standing, in front of this desk at the Horry Sheet Show, and I'm talking about a video. And then all of a sudden behind me, you see me come flying out from the space with my guitar. And I'm like, hey, that's one of the funniest things I did. And I just thought, what can I add to my show every time? So I try to add a little funny thing or 2 funny things to my show every time. So to keep it entertaining, because I don't know, that's just my thing. So it's teaching me a lot. How can I bring my funny end of myself to my videos, and I'll keep it professional and not, make Flat Earth look ridiculous. But some people, you can't please everybody, man. Some of the comments that I get, I don't let it stay up on my channel, but it's hilarious. People think I'm a shill all over for what I do.
I think that's par for the course. I think if you're making videos about flat earth, you're going to get called a shill at some stage. But I mean, how do you find it? I mean, this now, is this fairly common for you, doing a live interaction? I mean, this isn't a criticism, but I noticed that you're talking to me, which is over here, and your camera's over here, whereas when you do the Horry Sheet Show, there's no one to talk to, so you're straight down the barrel of the camera lens, straight to the audience. It's a totally different scenario being live to being recorded. So you've done, I don't know if that was your first live broadcast you did this morning. Was it your first?
Not my first. I did do the live. I was actually, I'm starting to do more casual live streaming stuff, and then when I do professional stuff, I try to keep it on the YouTube. So the first one I actually did was my energy healing live stream, but I was in the Horry Sheet Show set outside on the moon, sitting on the moon, and then I invited everybody, come over here. And so I did changed it in OBS. I transitioned to just me sitting on the moon, and I taught people what I knew about energy healing in that episode, which turned out to be pretty cool. even like Glowbusters, Bob from Glowbusters showed up. I think Dredd from You've Been Exposed showed up. I was really excited to see some of the people that I really like watching videos from showed up to my very first live stream. It really gave me a lot of motivation to just kind of keep going and continue.
Oh wow, I did not catch that. That's cool. That's very cool. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, and but it's different. I'm not used to it. So I've been just doing random stuff because Nathan, I guess I didn't mention the other part of the Horry Sheet Show is, well, the name, okay, Horry Sheet is, of course, a funny version of holy beep. So, but a censored version. And believe it or not, I'm not catching flack from my Asian community. They love it. I'm catching flack from the politically correct white people. So whatever. But my channel goal is to catch people that are completely asleep to conspiracy theories and flat earth and anything that is not mainstream. I want to catch the mainstream bears and lead them to the honeypot and the red pill and just truth bomb them right here. And I'm trying to catch people in different niches that I can relate to and talk about. So I do videos on Fiverr and work at home advice, because I turned into a freelancer when I said, hey, I wanted to break free from the system, working 40 hours a week at a job I hate for someone else's dreams. I don't feel so good about that in my gut no more. And I'm pretty intuitively led. And I tell you what, I never really liked working at a company. I never felt appreciated or valued at a job. So anywhere. So I said, I have to get this information out about how I started. And then I had to also, I know a lot about astral projection or outer body experiences. So I knew that from high school. Now I'm not too much into it nowadays, but I said, man, what do I do with this video stuff that I had kind of grew a business with? So I'm starting to make videos where I'm teaching people how I became a freelancer or how I energy heal. And then I just, the Horry Sheet Show's Flat Earth Digest is the research that I put onto the table and then help speed up people's research. So there is another goal, and that's to catch the sleeping bears and give them the red pill, Nathan.
I mean, I'm very keen to promote the fact that you're doing the alternative earnings videos, because this is something that you talk about, taking the red pill. For me, that's kind of the next step of removing yourself from these systems, getting into different means of sustaining yourself and getting into barter and things like this. I'm going to have Carl McDonald on. I don't know if you've caught the videos that he's been putting out about one red paperclip, but it's a similar sort of idea, unplugging from working for the man, as well as unplugging from all the nonsense and bullshit that we have in terms of NASA programming and where we live. That could be the tip of the iceberg in terms of how we move forward. And as I say, one of those things is most definitely detaching yourself from pay slips and employers and all those things. And you seem like a very happy chap. I can only assume that it's because you're not being dictated to in terms of how you lead your time. I mean, it's pretty late there at the moment, but yet here you are chatting to me. Presumably that's good for you.
Yeah,
you can do that.
I don't even know what day it is. I don't even care. I don't have to anymore. I don't have an alarm clock I have to wake up to. I made a lot of changes to get here, and I don't even do what I used to do now. I've flipped the roles now. My wifey goes to work, and I watch the children. So I'm like shoes on the other foot. Life is still good though. It's not because my business failed or anything like that. It was doing great. She just had a different opportunity, and she's like, "Hey, let's try this out." I'm like, "Okay, it's working great." I got a smile on my face, right? So, but yeah, so Alex, have time to kind of share how I did that and get that out. And so I had a live stream tonight where I set up one of my they call it gigs, and on Fiverr. So I set up one of my gigs live, and a couple of people kind of came in and watched it and learned some things. So yeah, kind of trying to do a whole bunch of stuff really at one time.
I suppose the burning question is, how did you get into the flat Earth bit? So how did you find out the Earth is flat?
Okay, so moved into this new place, and there's a wood burning stove in the other in the other room, And I decided I needed, it's winter time, it's cold, and I'm spending a lot of money on this heater, and I want to burn some wood in the wood burning stove. So I went to Google, believe it or not, and I type in, how do I light a wood burning stove? And I don't know if it's me or my connection or what, but you look a little choppy on my end. I don't know if the viewers see us as choppy or anything. If you hear somebody in the chat.
Could be your end. I think my end's great.
Oh, gotcha, mate. Let me continue on. So, no, so I went and pulled up, how do I light my wood burning stove? And after I watched this video, guess what shows up in the recommended feed? It was a Kathy O'Brien video for MK Ultra. And
wow.
I clicked on that. I'm like, who is this? And what's MK Ultra? And she looked real serious. And I just happened to be in one of those moods to click on something random, and it started me down the rabbit hole really quick when she goes into talking about stuff about some big names that I'm like, whoa, this can't be real. So that quickly led me into Alex Jones, finding him. And because I was my mind kind of, I don't know, peeled back some layers, and I was real like, oh man, maybe they're all lying to us on a deeper level. Because intuitively, I've always felt like we're being lied to, like can't trust the government and all that stuff. But I never had any real anything on them, But when I started going down the rabbit hole, a lot of this stuff made sense. A lot of this stuff I was hearing, I was like, wow, and look, you can't believe everything you hear going down the rabbit hole, but a lot of this stuff made sense, felt right, and I can read people. So when this lady was talking about her experiences, and I'm looking at her in her eyes, I'm like, oh my God, she's telling the truth. And I'm like, whoa. So that freaked me out. And Alex Jones, I kind of, I've always felt something was weird with him. But it finally ultimately came to come to a website that said, what's the top 10 biggest conspiracies in the world? And number 2 was the flat Earth. Okay. Number 1 was some other thing like the dream catcher. But number 2, I was like, flat Earth. Earth is flat. No. And then I'm like, come on, this must be. And I was about to just click the X button. I was about to just hold on to my blue pill or my purple pill. And but I said, no, let me see what these crazy people have to say about some Earth being flat. I clicked on it, and I found flat Earth clues pretty quickly. No. Sorry. Let me back up, because I almost got caught in the net, Nathan. I almost got caught in the net. I didn't even click on anything. I don't think the site had anything to really click on that was worth, but I instantly Control-T, new tab, Earth is flat, boom. Then I come across Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society. I click on Flat Earth Society, and believe me, I'm in research mode, and I'm hardcore research mode right now. So I'm looking at some Flat Earth Society, and I got one eyebrow up real high, and then I come across gravity is because the disk of Earth is flying up at certain mile per hour, and that's gravity or whatever.
Yeah, 8 meters per second. Did you come to the conclusion of why that's there though? Why would they say that?
Why is Flat Earth Society a thing, and why is that information there? Because
specifically
it's going to catch people like me.
Specifically, I know it's controlled opposition, and yes, it's to catch people like you that are early part of their research. But why specifically? I'll tell you anyway. But why would they have the flat Earth disk rising up to cause gravity? What would you think the purpose of that is?
Well, probably to still give the space illusion. Anything.
Exactly. Yeah, they need space, basically. If they're controlled opposition, the thing that the heliocentric model points towards beyond anything else is the infinite vastness of space. So if you're going to have controlled opposition, you want to retain that for certain. So that's what the Flat Earth Society do. They say, you've got water spilling over the edge, complete nonsense, and the disk rises up at 8 meters per second.
Yeah, and just jog my memory of some of the people that really make fun of it, and they don't do enough research, and kind of some people you can't blame them, but I'm just gonna say I don't really know. I don't want to drop any names and name bombs, but a very popular YouTuber,
Eric Sabay.
And he he made a video saying the Earth rotates, like the flat Earth disc rotates, and he made this. He got an animator to talk about how the Earth would how you'd have to feel like you're walking up some steep hill the more you get to the edge, and all this crazy nonsense. And
Oh,
I'm like,
sorry,
man,
I said Eric Debay. You're talking about Vsauce.
I am talking about Vsauce. Yeah, I didn't catch what you coughed
Oh,
out for me,
I
but
thought you were
yeah,
going to talk about Eric Debay.
no, I like a lot of Eric's work. I didn't pry too deeply into what he has done, but anyway, the Vsauce video, I mean, it goes to show you how people can be quick to make fun of something and not do any kind of research into it. And for it to be a popular and I thought very well respected, very intelligent person, video creator, good video editor. I'm thinking, well, does this dude just own a green screen and read some scripts like me, and somebody just edits his stuff? Like, well, no, that he's probably doing his own stuff. But seriously, what kind of research does the guy do? Nothing of worth. It discredited his everything, and it really upsets me that people can just not get past something like the Flat Earth Society. I mean, you have to, if you get caught with the Flat Earth Society and you believe that BS of the flat Earth rising and that's gravity, I mean, you might as well just go back to the globe Earth and keep your blue pill. I mean, the truther community is not ready. You're not ready for the truther community, and you have a lot more to swallow when you start trying to eat some flat Earth, okay? Because it ties into a lot when you get to the control structure, right?
I mean, before we get on to the powers that should not be, you mentioned about Mark Sargent's proof with them, how do they call it, painting targets, and the guy he had on was talking about painting targets at about 60 miles, because he wasn't allowed to disclose anything further. And I once interviewed a guy called Jeff Stewart, who was a quartermaster, and he said the same thing. He was talking about the Aegis tracking system, and again he was saying, well, officially 60 miles, but yeah, they could go a lot further than that. But in essence, was that like the clincher for you? The wow, if they're painting targets at 60 miles, there's no curve.
And a lot of people say the similar thing I'm about to say is there was no one thing for me, but if I could say anything, what really did it for me, I think one of the biggest things is I was looking into I was looking at high altitude weather balloon footage, and I'm looking at all this, all these high altitude balloons going up 120,000 feet and then popping, and you got two versions, okay? You got the fisheye lens version, the GoPro lens versions. That's 99.8% of the videos out there. And then if you really try hard enough, you'll find a non-fisheye lens version. And now somebody has to explain where's the curve in that video. And I'm not even going to say I know a whole lot about this camera that I do this video stuff with, but I know that fisheye lenses are wide-angle lenses, and they're designed to give you a wider field of view, so that camera sees more stuff, and that produces a curve on the horizon. So when I saw a video of a 360 camera, and when they're on the ground and they're on a level like I don't know, looks like a big cement slab outside of something, and it's a perfectly straight video, okay, 360 video, panorama, weird looking shot, and then it goes up and it reaches its highest altitude and it's still a straight line horizon. Well, somebody has to explain, if the Earth is really a ball, how that kind of camera is it looking at a horizon that's slightly below eye level. And I threw my hands up right there, and goosebumps and everything, and everything I had researched for, like, this had been like probably about the 5th or 6th month of hard research, Nathan. I'm talking addiction. I'm talking every second of free time was me listening, or while I'm working, listening to a podcast, a 3 or 4 hour long podcast, like the one we was talking about with the guy painting that target. So, I mean, I couldn't stop. I was binging on Flat Earth for months before I even told my wifey, and, but it wasn't any one thing. It was mostly the NASA fakery, and the high balloon altitude footage, and the feeling of just always knowing that when I heard about the heliocentric model in school, and that I always thought, man, if I dug a hole straight down, like I'd end up in China. God, that just doesn't feel right. And I just chalked it up to, I could never do it. That'd be funny to try to think about it much, but no, it's a gut answer that I kept getting was, it doesn't feel right because it's not. And that, you know, when you feel and hear truth, dude, I feel it. I feel goosebumps. Goosebumps are my trigger. So a lot of this is intuitively led, but a whole lot of research, 6 hours a day of research. That's like taking a course, you know, in school. And I might not have retained it like 100% to go take a test on it, but when you have that many nuggets, and I call them like nuggets of truth in these long, long podcasts, if you're a hardcore researcher into flat Earth and you find these nuggets and go, oh, like it might be a picture, it might be a video clip, it might be it's a person talking about it, like when you find a podcast with somebody that is talking about, yeah, I make the equipment that goes on the satellites, and I tell you what, it shouldn't be able to survive the temperatures they say space is working with, and blah 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 blah. And I mean, you find these pieces of information, and it's like, whoa, makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it's a lot of things. A lot of things come together. But I'd say that 360 camera, it was a big one.
Yeah, you often get the globe heads will take a piece of footage, and it's normally just one section, a still from one of those high altitude balloon footages, and it has a slight curve to it. You have to point out to them that at that altitude, that curve would have to continue, and it doesn't. You know, as the camera spins, the curve remains the same. It's not continuing beyond the extremities of the camera. It's just a artifact of the lens. You know, so when they have even a slight curvature, there's always an easy enough explanation for why there's a slight curvature and why it doesn't actually depict Earth having any curve. It's just an artifact of the camera. But yeah, I like those moments too, like you say, when you get goosebumps.
Yeah. You're talking about the very end of the camera. Sometimes it has a slight curve, and you're like, they're like, oh, that's the curve. Look, it's going. And yeah, if you finish the curve, you're not going to end up with a ball shape. But I don't know if you saw my recent video I put out that really shows this in a pretty straightforward fashion. I took the image of Earth, the high res image that they recently came out with. I cut it and pasted. I cut it out, and somebody on one of the forums was talking about, oh, you flat earthers have to explain this high altitude jet showing curvature of the Earth with this snapshot photo. And I mean, clearly you have like a ball, actually it was flat on a flat horizon on one side. And then well, let me get in the right perspective for my camera. It's like a flat horizon on one side, and then it started to curve over here and go down like a ball. It was awkward already. I'm like, obviously this is some weird fisheye lens or something. And he's like, yeah, and the wing doesn't curve. You can't see any bulge, so it's not a fisheye. And I pulled it up in Photoshop, and right away I seen that the wing was actually working with a real weird bulge. And then I'm seeing all the curvy like reflections going on in the glass. So I was like, I have to make a video about this because this guy's really confused. So my latest video was you cannot see Earth curvature from a jet or a plane. And to talk about to go back to complete the circle in this video, I actually did just that. I took his picture, and I took that picture of Earth that I cut out, and I stuck it right on each other. And I looked, and I was like, now it made the same, like the top of the Earth that I had made the same curve as his picture. It lined up perfectly. But what it would have been having to show is half of the United States in that picture. So I'm like, guys, this is not what you're seeing. You're not seeing this guy look out his cockpit, and you're not seeing like New York and all these states, and like half the United States is not right here in this picture. I can look in there and I can make out like roads and mountain features in this picture, and it's not even close to being like the whole state. And people have to really wake up to that and understand that, look, no, a lot of the camera footage that we get is curved footage, curved lenses. And I wish, so I wanted to say I'm making a part 2 to that, but I found the video right after that I wish I could have stuck in there before I made that one, is a guy is in his cockpit in his same looking jet, and he's on ground level. He's about to take off, and it's a curved cockpit, obviously, and the road lines that you can see going down the road curve at a real weird, like it curves into the front of the, because of the glass of the cockpit, it distorts that road. And as you go up, if you skip to it, like 3 minutes into the video, you see, and this video is linked on that, the one I made, like in the description, but you can click 3 minutes in that one and see the same, almost same exact picture that I had debunked in my video. The wing had just distorted a little bit. The Earth had a weird flat and curve, and then there was a curvy reflection in the mirror of the guy, and then they had like the guy's like shirt was reflected also. I mean, it would look like the exact, it looked like a snapshot of the exact same video, and it was just another jet video. So yeah, people get confused on this fisheye lens thing. I'm sorry to go on a big rant, but
no, it's a good rant to go on. It's a good rant to go on because it's hard to explain to somebody, because this particular deception, the heliocentric deception, when it comes to things like seeing the Earth out of a plane window, it's one where they're not going to correct the misconception that you can see a curve from a plane window. I'd go as far as to say that they've even engineered these windows to produce this curve. It was one of the first flat Earth sort of arguments I had with my my auntie. I said, the Earth is flat. She said, no, I've seen the curve from a plane window. But in reality, this is something that's conceded on both sides. At 30,000 feet, you can't see curvature. You simply aren't high enough. Now, that's not me saying that as a flat earther. That's a base fact for anybody in any model. You're not going to see any curve with the Earth being 24,000 miles in circumference from 30,000 feet. It's not going to happen. So if you do see curve at 30,000 feet, it's an optical illusion. You think you can see curve where there is none. And ultimately speaking, when I was in planes travelling all over the plane, that what you're saying in terms of drilling down to China, for me it'd be Australia, but that was the conception that I couldn't get my head around. I'm travelling on these very long haul flights across a flat plane, and you can see it out the window. But when you land, you're told, no, you're antipode to where you were now. You're like, well, that's not what I've experienced in the journey. So again, for somebody to point out the window and go, well, no, that's the curvature. It's like, well, I'd expect to be flying around that curvature then if I can actually see it through this window, which you can't. But it's like you say, it's a misconception. And most people aren't ever even thinking about conceptualizing what a globe would look like, what it would actually physically be to experience living on a globe. You just get told that you are, presented it in Hollywood. That's it. Yeah, I'm on a globe. Yeah, of course, Hollywood says so. It's accepted, and therefore when it comes to conceptualizing it, there's no requirement to. Nobody's investigating their cosmology, so why would you even consider it? You just look out the window and go, looks a bit curved, of course we live on a globe, and then your presupposition takes over. You don't need to conceptualize it from that point on. So your rant is perfectly valid because that misconception is allowed. They allow people. I've seen so many videos where you've got people like airline hostesses saying they've seen the curvature of Earth, pilots saying they've seen the curvature of Earth, and it's like, you don't understand the heliocentric system. If you're saying you can see curve, you don't understand your model. No, nobody's conceding that you can see curve at 30,000 feet. It's just wrong. But if you think you can, that's pure indoctrination. You've just got your presuppositions lined up, and therefore conceptualization isn't necessary.
Yeah, like you said, the airline stewardess and stuff like that. I had a good friend of mine that said he saw the curve from an airplane, and he looks at me, he doesn't look at me. He was like over Skype, and he's like, man, I just, when's the last time you've been on a plane? And I'm like, I haven't been on a plane since I was like a baby. But he's like, oh man, I could see the curve from the plane, man. I'm telling you. And I'm like, this can't be true because that's too easy. It's too easy, and people are not that stupid. I had more faith in humanity, and one of, I think, my very first formal flat Earth video, I called it the fish eye lie, and I made a real cool picture too of like a big fish with like a magnifying glass going over his eyeball, and when it magnifies his eyeball, it's like the flat Earth map coming out. It's pretty cool, but it's talking about how airplane windows are built, because I did a little research. Turns out they're curved. Why? Because of aerodynamics. It's stress reducing if the window is curved around the edges rather than square. When it's passing through the air, it's going to take less stress if it's curved. So there is a curvature to the window. That means and it's double paned a lot of times. There actually is like a hole in the glass of the window in one of these to kind of like to handle air pressure and whatnot. And or allowed to like bend and flex because of air pressure, I think. And that curvature in the double pane glass, you're gonna see some distortion. And there's pictures that I show where it looks like a curve out of that particular window, but it's just the glass. And you know what? That's one of those things that will wake people up. But it's really a shame when they fight you over it. Because it's something that you should be able to get over that hump. But people are they love Star Wars too much. They love science too much, or whatever it is to them, they got to hold on to the ball. It seems like some of these people really, I hate to say it, they just really like the ball concept, or they don't think we could have been lied to that much. That's really like the biggest thing. Like, or they get stuck immediately on why. Why would they lie? Come on, and you just. You can't blame them because they did it. They pulled it off. They pulled it off for what was it? 500 years. 500 years ago, just about, we thought Earth was flat, right? It's only been 500 years that we've changed this.
Depends what you ask. They would argue that it was 2,000 years and that they'd measured it with sticks and shadows long before that. But yeah, you're right. In terms of as far as I can ascertain, the deception part of it would have started about 500 years ago. But if I was to put that to someone like Mark Sargent, he would say, well, no, because until they start claiming that they've got high enough to see it, they didn't know either. So to say that they're perpetrating a deception when they don't really know they've not got high enough, if I'm to use the argument, I can't say for certain it's not a globe or it is flat because I can't get high enough, then you can only concede that would be the same for them, given that they hadn't been up till the late 60s, early 70s, or early 60s in terms of just going into space. But anything beyond that, in terms of moon travel, for instance, that's really the proof that we have, and that's the point that they've gone up high enough to actually have a look and take a photograph, according to them. Of course, we're not allowed to. I just want to address one thing from the chat. I'm sure he's not a globehead because his name's Flat Enough. And he's saying that it's not the windows on the plane aren't big enough to look out of, and saying you've got to crick your neck and stuff, and there's rows of seats. And I'd agree with you. I think it's specifically designed that way so that you can't actually look out of the window from your seat. And this is a fairly well worn story for me, but when I was a rep, I wouldn't be in the seat. That's what everyone else was doing, looking at the back of the headrests, not looking out the window because you couldn't see anything. Whereas if you went to the back of the plane, the emergency exit door, there was no seats around it at all, it was right by the galley in most of the planes, had a cutout. So yes, you've still got the same size window, but there's a what would you call it, an obtuse angle going in so that you can actually get quite a wide viewing angle on the plane. So that's what I would do to get a decent viewing angle and observe the flat plane for an hour, while everyone else was looking at a movie. But you still with us, Horry? Oh, we seem to have lost Horry. He's lost his connection. Hopefully we will get him back shortly. I might actually go to the chat and say hello to a few people while we're waiting for Horry to reconnect. So let's have a little look who's on the chat room. Flat Earth Christian Truthers, hello to you too. Shay Smith, good to see you. Alistair Cunningham, waking up the sleeping bears, nicely put. Yes, it was nicely put, I won't disagree. Five Arts Libertarians, how you doing? Flat Earth, we've mentioned you already. Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, good to have you here. Sleeping Warrior, good to see you. Tony Ward, Deja Vu. Good evening all, presumably an American. How you doing? Good to have you here. Sadist. Thanks for being here. Hoodwink33, hello. Getting to the end. Go away now. Interesting screen name. Good to have you here. I'll hang around till Horry returns, and if he doesn't, we'll round out shortly. Druminati, hello! Whee! That's pretty much it. Mr. Flat Taxi Rainbow Chemtrails. Now, I'm very pleased that James has gone back to that name. because it's an excellent name. We do actually have 2 feeds running, so I think that one was the Google Plus one. Yeah, let's have a look at the OBS one, see if there's any different peeps in there. And failing the return of Horry Sheet, we shall round out our show. Chez, good to see you. Fe Mex Am, good to have you in here. Abe, Abundance of Shade. Hope I've said that correctly. Good to have you here. Magsent, thanks for being here. May as well say now, if you're new to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you do get updated when we have new videos. Anybody else? Before a 4, hello. 7 Raven Wolf, good to have you here. Raw MC, RORMC, good to have you here. Rebel, pleased to see you. And the Horry Sheet Show was in the chat, hasn't said anything yet, so maybe he's had a power cut.
I actually had a power outage.
I thought so.
Out of nowhere. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I guess I should check the weather around here, but that's completely out of the norm. It just went completely pitch black in my whole room for 20 seconds.
What a nightmare. It might be an idea for us to round us anyway. I was intending to keep this to be a reasonably short show. I'm sure we will chat again, but while we do have power and we're not going to lose you just for the outro, can you give us, or give the audience, I should say, the name of your channel and anything you'd like to plug as well, Horry?
Sure. I want to go ahead and get out there, to get to, all you got to do is type in the Horry Sheet Show or the Flat Earth Digest, and it will get you to the Horry Sheet Show. But it's really the Horry Sheet Show on YouTube. And I'm doing a Fiverr and work at home advice series. So I'm trying to help people that either have skills or don't have any skills, and that want to start making anywhere from a little extra money to potentially full-time income. And I know it sounds like a commercial, but hey, don't hate me. I do commercials for a living. But it's well-done videos. I'm not asking for money. I don't need money. That's not my thing. I just want to help people. I want to help people discover truth. I want to help people break free from the matrix. So I have a Fiverr and work at home video course. Check it out. It's how I got started, how I built the business. It's why I have a green screen in here. And, I'm kind of doing it gearing it towards like anybody who's wanting to do videos there, or anybody who, like I just put out a gig today for a virtual assistant or making calls to anyone for money. And this you can do without a phone even. You can do, like I make phone calls with Google Gmail. So I'm giving you ideas and I'm telling you how to handle your business there on that platform to make money. And the other thing I want to do is I'm doing energy healing live stream shows and energy healing videos. So anybody who wants to learn how to pull headaches or nausea or joint pains, and believe me, I know it's unbelievable. But I have firsthand experience with this crazy stuff and it works. And you can pull stuff out of people and pull pains out of people. I'm teaching you how to do it, and from the ground up. And you don't have to know about chakras, and you don't have to meditate, because I don't do all that stuff, and I don't have the first clue I don't even know if I know the names of them. So it's coming from a place of pure intuition. I only read a little bit here and there, but not enough to know what I know. Otherwise, from firsthand experience. What I'm trying to say is everything I know is from firsthand experience and not from a book. So it's a different angle. So if you're used to any of this, come see what I have to say, because it's kind of me doing my own thing, and I hope you like it. So that's it. Check out the Horry Sheet Show. Take the red pill.
Superb. Once again, a massive thank you to Horry of the Horry Sheet Show for being on Flat Earth United. A short and sweet episode, this one. Be sure to subscribe, like, share this video, and indeed like, comment and share on Horry's videos. I've been Nathan Oakley. I will see you all in the next video.
Thanks, Nathan. Thanks a whole bunch. Really appreciate you having me on, buddy. Take care.
It's a pleasure. We still stream for a little bit afterwards, so I've still got the OBS stream running after the show finishes, just in case there's anything that doesn't get added to the main show. But yeah. In this instance, as it's probably, what time is it there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you still had me going, so I gave you a goodbye while we were probably still on air. I'm not sure how you end it, but probably look like a goofball there, but it's all right. I think it went pretty good. Sorry about the disconnect. Certainly
No, don't apologise. These things happen. Not to worry at all. What time is it there now?
It's 6:15 a.m. and
Wow.
I'm feeling right as rain.
Well, I'm gonna have to leave you to it. I'm gonna give my wife a bit of attention, so I'm gonna go out for a walk as it's a nice day.
I hear you, man. Have fun. Thanks again. And I hope I hope we can send some people some views back and forth. I know I've plugged you a couple times, or if not, I'll definitely give you another plug on my show. So appreciate it. Have fun, and we'll talk again.
One last thing I was going to say, I've got you on Skype now, so when I do a group show, I will stick you on the invite list, so that if you want to join those group shows, it might be that you only get to pop in for 5 minutes because of your situation with your family and stuff. But if you do get to pop in, that'd be wonderful if we get to see you on some of the group shows, because I'd love to chat to you again. I know it's been awkward trying to get together because of our schedules and such, but yeah, it's been really nice chatting with you, even though it was short.
Yeah, and what's going to be cool is once I get everything set up the way I want, I'm getting some special software, actually OBS. OBS, you can click on there's a virtual webcam plugin. You can make OBS your virtual webcam source. So I can use the Horry Sheet Show from when I come to, instead of this right now, I could literally be at the Horry Sheet Show. So I'm going to be coming on Google Hangouts as the Horry Sheet Show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't have a whole lot to offer as far as Flat Earth Truth, but I'm trying to fit in and I'm trying to help. But anyway, great time. Keep me. Thanks for the invites. I'll certainly join and hop in, buddy. Have a good evening.
Good to chat with you. See you soon.
All right. Take care.
So that was Horry Sheet of the Horry Sheet Show. I'm going to give one last plug to my own channel, so be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley. I will see you all in the next video.